I can remember playing in recitals kind of like this when I was young. And I see, looking back, just like sports, how important music in the life of somebody can be. I learned really valuable lessons like you cannot improve without practice and the regret of quitting. My mom told me if you quit piano, you're going to regret it. And to this day, I definitely regret it. So if you're taking a musical instrument, and you're thinking about quitting, let me just tell you and encourage you to not. Stick with it. It's going to be worth it in the long run. So we're in the chapel, and there's a lot of musical offices right around us, as well as right below us. And I want to just give a shout out and a thank you to all of the music staff. I'm going to read it off so I don't forget anyone. I want to say thank you to Scott and to Keith and Tim and Kathy, my wife, Katie, Angie, Wendy, Gina, and Nicole. I want to just say thank you for your passion for the excellence of music in a lot of different areas. Things like private music lessons, ensembles, choirs, band, orchestra, handbells, classroom music, and now remote learning. You are very appreciated, and I just want to take a moment and say thank you for all that you do. Verse 1 through verse 7. The question is, who is God? And the answer is found right here in verse 4. We see that God is Elohim. And we've seen this name for God the last couple of days. It's the Hebrew word for God, meaning that God is the one true God. And here the author says that God, Elohim, is my helper. And he is my helper in very difficult times. So at this point in David's life, he was still seen as a traitor against Saul. And so he was even fighting for his life. It says strangers have risen against him, and men seek his life. And so it was crazy difficult times for David. But we also see it now a different word or different name for God, and this is Lord. And this is translated Yahweh. And this is, again, another Hebrew word for God, and it means that God is the self-existent, eternal God. This is the name that God reveals to Moses in Exodus chapter 3, verse 14, where Moses says, God, if the people of Israel ask who sent me, or who sent me, who should I say? And God says, tell them I am. And so that's the meaning of Yahweh, that God is. He always has been, he is, and he always will be. This is who God is, and he is Yahweh. So how do you trust this God? How do you trust Yahweh, the self-existent one? I am. Right here in verse 1, we see and we follow the pattern of David, like we've seen so often in his Psalms, is we pray to God with desperation. Right here in verse 1, save me by your name, vindicate me by your might. O God, hear my prayer, give ear to the words of my mouth. And so we trust Yahweh by praying to him as if he were our only hope, because he is our one and only true hope. And so whatever situation you find yourself in, whether it's difficult or easy or crazy difficult like David's situation here where he's fighting for his life, we trust Yahweh by praying to him. But not only that, in verse 4, we see this word where it says behold. And this word behold means to stop, to take, to pay attention and not miss what is following because it's too important. And so we see and we stop that God is my helper, but that Yahweh is the upholder of my life. And so this is what we stop and we see who God is. He is the upholder of my life. And then we speak the truth of who Yahweh is to our situation, just like David did here. And this is awesome to see here. We see here, well, okay, so Yahweh is the upholder of my life. How do I stop and see? How do I speak this to the way that I feel in my situation? Well, we speak it to our past. In verse 7, he has delivered me. My eyes has looked. And so we speak the truth of who Yahweh is. He is the upholder of my life
we speak that to our past. This is who Yahweh is. He has been Yahweh in our past, but not just in our past. He is Yahweh in my present situation. Whatever trials you're going through, crazy, difficult, or easy, He is still Yahweh. He is the self-existent God, the upholder in your present situation. And He will be Yahweh in the future. He will return with a free will offering. I will sacrifice. I will give thanks. And here it is in the future. Yahweh is the self-existent God in the past. He has been. He is in the present, and He will be in the future. This is who Yahweh is, the great upholder of your life, and He holds you up from ultimately falling. I love this name of God, Yahweh, and I love that He is pictured here as the one who holds us up. It reminds me of the song, He Will Hold Me Fast. And it's probably one of my favorite songs. Now look, I am not a singer at all, but this song is near and dear to my heart, so I'm just going to play one verse in the chorus, and I hope it's an encouragement to you. I'll put a link to a couple different versions of the songs in the descriptions below. He will hold me fast. This is who Yahweh is, the upholder of your life, past, present, and future.